Well, welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with the Disability Policy for All. Today I have the great fortune and honor to be talking to Congressman Pete Session from Texas. So welcome.
Liz, thank you very much. And by the way, welcome to the Chairman's office here at the Rules Committee in the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C.
Thank you. Today we'll be talking about the Rules Committee. You have been a member of the House of Representatives for 20 years, and you said you're the chairman of the House Rules Committee. What does the committee do?
Liz, this is the 18th year I've been on the committee and the 5th year that I serve as the chairman of the House Rules Committee. The House Rules Committee is one of the oldest committees in Congress, and its function is to allow the bringing together of all the legislation that's going to go to the floor to allow members of the body to more fully participate. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about when a member of Congress has a piece of legislation that they offer to Congress, that goes out to the various, some 21 committees that we have. And that bill is heard by those committees as it comes through the process. And if you don't serve on that committee, you might not have a chance. But before it goes to the floor of the House of Representatives, it comes to the Rules Committee, and all the members are allowed to come up and make changes to the bill so that they can understand it and get it to look more like what they want. So that's what we do up here at the Rules Committee. We're the last stop before something gets to the floor.
Thank you. You were one of the champions of the ABLE Act that passed in December of 2015, and I wanted to thank you on behalf of people with disability. Why was the ABLE Act so important to you?
Liz, thank you very much. In fact, what we saw is Mr. Crenshaw, who was a former member of the House of Representatives, Andrew Crenshaw, who's from Florida, for 8 years championed a piece of legislation that in fact required a lot of effort at the end to get it done. And what it allows is that somebody that might be limited because of their disability to receive Medicaid funding, well, we did not allow them to have savings accounts. We did not allow them to have the same opportunities for education and for opportunity. And so Andrew Crenshaw came up with this piece of legislation that said, let's allow even a person that might be receiving government support to have a savings account that would be designed for their own education. Well, why is that important to me? That's important to me because of my son, Alexander Gregory Sessions, who is a 22-year-old Down syndrome man. And Alex is now through formal school, through high school. But his grandfather, upon graduation from high school and college, and each the time one of the grandchildren would get an advanced degree, would write a check to them. Congratulations from your grandfather. Way to go. That's the way things are done, to help give them a chance to have a little bit of money and to pat them on the back. In this case, he could write a check to every single grandchild, but not the one who needed it perhaps the most. And so Alexander Sessions would qualify now for one of these accounts. There's some 4,000 accounts that have been established across the country that are called 529s. An ABLE Act allowed the legislation. The savings vehicle is called a 529, and there are now some $15 million across the country that have been invested for our children and people so that it helps them with their education on a pre-tax basis.
Thank you. Does being the father of a son with a disability affect your work as a congressman?
It does affect my work, Liz. And it affects my work because every day Alex is right, if not on the tip of my tongue, directly in my heart. And so many of my colleagues know Alex, they strongly identify. And I think that he was given to me by God. I'm a special person to be able to have Alex. Alex has changed my life. But the bottom line is, in my work day to day, I've been able to, as Kathy McMorris Rogers has, as before us Jim Nussel has, and there are other members of Congress. Tom Marino has a daughter. Congressman Collins from Georgia, Doug Collins, has a daughter with spina bifida. We have built a coalition of sorts of members who have our children that come to this world with these special needs. And we do advocate and try and be, not just in Congress, but among all the members to say, this is worthy of us to do the right thing.
And I hope that Alex is proud and knows that he is a great father.
He is a cool guy. He and I love each other and have way too much fun. I think a lot of it was developed not just because he's my son, because we did scouting together. His older brother's an Eagle Scout also. His grandfather's an Eagle Scout. So he really does not know necessarily anything different about himself. He just knows that he's part of the family and special and fits in and has hopes and dreams and aspirations just like I do.
Thank you. Since the ABLE Act has been passed, what do you see as the next step to help people with disability be economically self-sufficient?
Well, I think the most important thing that one of the areas that we've got to work on is what's called Medicaid. And Medicaid is the health care component of providing people, by and large, who cannot take care of themselves or may have limitations on the amount of money that they can make. And I believe that Medicaid should be there for people who really need help and cannot take care of themselves, not just somebody who may be necessarily down on their luck. I believe that it should be a system that is designed, that is more comprehensive and designed to help people who are not able-bodied. And I think the further we get to understanding what health care really should and shouldn't be, and what the government role is, and what the individual role is, we're going to be a little bit better. But I want to make sure that Medicaid is there and works. There's so many families all across this country that don't live in an urban area. They live in a rural area, and because of the money differences, many families cannot get the support they need with a comprehensive doctor for their children's needs, and that's the next frontier or horizon that we've got to go to.
Thank you. And if you have any more questions about this or any other policy issues, please go to the AUCG webpage and look for this week's in brief. And if you have any questions or comments about this edition of Tuesday, leave them in the space. Thanks, and have a nice day. Thanks,
Thank you. Thank you very much, Liz.
Bye.
You bet.